All right, I got a video on how I approach programming for beginners. I'm going to go over a quick overview. The video describes my mindsets, my opinions, and my take on a lot of uh, ideas around progression for beginners. So I'm going to go over this real quick. It's going to take 30 seconds. The body doesn't adapt to training in a linear fashion. You don't see results in a straight line. Why would you program that way? The adaptation to training falls more complex, nonlinear pattern. It's influenced by factors like training intensity, volume, and recovery. So I think it's important to have a program that reflects that. You're going to see ups and downs. I want to program in a way that matches that and avoids frustration, quite honestly. So you want to identify zones. You'll see in the video, I will identify these zones. Zone 1 is reps 1 to 3 per set. It's the most load. It's the shortest duration. Zone 2 is reps 4 through 6. It's a medium load, medium duration. Zone 3 sets 8 to 12 reps per set. It's the least amount of load, but the highest amount of or longest duration. Establishing zones is what gives you more opportunity to be exposed to more variations of stress. That is the key if you're a beginner. Okay. The reason you want to have all of it is each zone offers something different. And if you're able to do that as a beginner, you're going to see progress, in my opinion, faster and more robust. All right, the weekly layout. I'm just going to go through this really quick. It's not going to be a long, drawn-out thing. It's a full body split, but the first phase is week 1, your 3 sets of 8. Week 2, your 3 sets of 6. Week 3, your 5 sets of 3. Week 1 is zone 1. Week 2 is zone 2. Week 3 is zone 3. I flipped that, sorry. Week 1 is zone 3, and you get the picture. So you hit your warm-up sets. After warm-up sets, you start at a weight that you can do for the prescribed amount of reps, and you're going to finish at your best set of that number. So if you're in day 1, week 1, on a 3-day training split, you're going to finish your last set is your best set of 8. On week 2, you're going to finish your best set at 6 reps. You're going to finish week 3 at your best set at 3 reps. The different reps per set is what's going to allow you to lift more weight week to week. You're going to repeat phase 1. You're going to repeat phase 1 until you stop seeing results. You could repeat that, and you're looking to do 2 things. You could hit a new rep max, or you could hit a total tonnage max or total pounds lifted max. So week 4, you're looking to hit either or both an 8 rep max or a new tonnage max, total pounds lifted. Remember, it's 3 by 8. So you're going to count your best 3 sets of 8, and you're looking at week 1, and you're trying to either do both, ideally, a new 8 rep max and a new tonnage max of 3 sets of 8, your best 3 sets of 8. So if you lifted 3 sets of 8 at 100 pounds on week 1, that's 300 pounds of tonnage. Week 4, if you used 110 pounds for 3 sets of 8, you got a new 8 rep max and you got a new total tonnage max of 330 pounds. You're going to do the same thing for week 5 and week 6. You're getting a new 6 rep max on week 5 and tonnage max versus week 2. And week 6 is looking at week 3. So you're just repeating this until you stop seeing results. And then you move on to the next phase, right? And I'll show you the progressions in a single page in a second. But week 1, you're at 3 sets of 10, 3 sets of 5, 5 sets of 2. You're just progressing. The zone 3 goes up in volume, and the zone 2 and 1 goes down in volume, but up in intensity. So you're getting best of both worlds without just staying at the same reps all the time. I think that's a major mistake. Then the last and final phase, the final progression is 3 sets of 12, 3 sets of 4, 5 sets of 1. So you're easing yourself into this idea of even pushing a 1 rep max. And by giving yourself both different reps for rep maxes and the tonnage max, it's giving you more opportunity to see progress. You don't want to just measure progress on one single rep scheme or one single rep max. You want different ones. Each one's going to build on the other. You're going to rinse and repeat this over and over. So here's the phase 1, 2, and 3 progression overview. Phase 1, as you can see, 3 sets of 8, 3 sets of 6. Sorry here. So phase 1 right here, you got 3 sets of 8, 3 sets of 6, and 5x3, right? Phase 2, you're going there. Phase 3, you're going here. Everything's progressed. It's not boring. You don't hit plateaus. You expose your body to everything that you need, especially as a beginner. I've said this before, but exercise or strength training is like a language. You want to be well versed in both reps, intensity, all that. You want the more the better. So here's the video of why I think this way, and I hope it helps.
Stronger versus strongest. There are things that will get you stronger, and then there are things that will get you strongest. Both can be correct at the right time of a lifter's journey, but usually the difference is one works longer, and in my opinion, a lot of times it works faster and the results are more robust. So this idea that you're a beginner and you have to do the most simple thing, in my mind, is not always the best choice. Just because it's simple doesn't mean that there's going to be other steps you have to eventually overcome. So my thought is, why not get there faster, learn them, and then train the way that lasts the longest and offers the most results? Example would be, you've heard this analogy of cows versus bison. And the difference is when a storm's coming, the cows run away from the storm. A bison, a storm's coming, they run to the storm because they know the faster they get through the storm, the faster they're out of it. And that's the whole idea between avoidance and exposure. You can avoid something if it's bad for you, or if it's perceived to be complicated, or it's perceived to be something that might put barriers. But exposure, especially microdosed exposure, can get you over the hump a lot faster. So we're talking about linear progression versus nonlinear progression. And I would submit to you, if you lose weight or if you gained weight and you step on the scale every day, you're never going to see a straight line. You're not going to gain weight every single day. You see ups and downs. You zoom out, the big picture, you see your results. It's the same way in training. You know, a lot of times, especially people who've experienced this will know what I'm saying. You hit a max. You hit a max of deadlift today, your best ever. Okay. The next week, you got frustrated because you couldn't do it again. Everybody's experienced that. And if you haven't, let me just rephrase that and use an extreme to make my point. You max out today, deadlift, and you do your best lift ever. Can you do it tomorrow? I guarantee you, no, you cannot do it tomorrow. Why can't you do it tomorrow? Because a lot of the fatigue and the recovery takes longer, especially longer than a day. The central nervous system is not something that's easily understood. It's something that sometimes takes 2 weeks or more to recover. So it's natural to see, I hit my max 1 week, and then you feel like you're not as strong for a week or two. And then that next week, you're back up again. Just like losing or gaining weight, you're seeing these ups and downs over the long time, or over a longer period of time. You see a trend that's in the direction you want to go. So my idea is, why would I want to train in a way that I'm either predicting I'm going to be stronger week to week, or I'm purposely holding back? Either one. If my idea of a beginner's program is the same reps every week, and I'm just going to add weight every week, I'm either purposely holding back just so the next week I can add the 5 pounds and say that I got better, or I'm predicting that I will be stronger next week, and that's not always the case. And in that case, if you truly hit your best set of 5, and then the next week you go back and you truly try to hit your best set of 5, and you don't do better than the last week, That is something I personally try to avoid because the body doesn't adapt that way. So the other argument I would make is this idea of getting better every day, every week, just for this linear way of looking at things. If that was true, you could pick a calf up every day, and when it's full grown, you're carrying the full-size cow. That doesn't work. That doesn't work. So let's just at least agree on the idea that it doesn't work forever. Let's get past the idea that, like I said, stronger versus strongest, there are things that work and there are things that work longer. So if I know I'm starting something that is not going to work forever, to me, I'm delaying what I need to know or what I need to be exposed to. Just like the cow versus a bison. Let's go ahead and weather the storm early. Get over with it. The cows, they're just prolonging the whole process. So my mindset's more in line with the bison. Let's dive right into it. You can still keep it simple and not have to feel like you have to train in a way that you get better every week. It's not complicated. I know a lot of people, they get really emotional when somebody has a different opinion. That's where I kind of exit the conversation. It's also something that tells me if your idea was so solid, you wouldn't have to have an emotionally charged reaction. If it was solid, you would simply just respond. And when I see somebody emotionally charged and they get all big chested and they want to have this beating on your chest contest or whatever, that tells me I hit a soft spot, because a lot of people don't question things that are popular or common, especially ideas or beliefs. So here's the other idea to even talking about this is bad ideas take care of themselves. If it's a bad idea, you should share it. That's the best way to kill a bad idea, because if it's truly a bad idea, people hear it and they dismiss it because, well, it's not a good idea. So there's nothing to be afraid of. So here's the idea. You've never lifted before. The way I look at rep schemes are, you've got different zones. In each zone, the biggest two differences is the duration and the load. The zone with the longest duration and the lowest load is sets of 8 to 12 reps. You've never lifted. 3 sets of 8, if you've never lifted, let's start there. And I want you to lift more weight next week. Instead of banking on the idea you'll just automatically be able to lift more weight with 3 sets of 8, the easiest way to lift more weight is to change the rep scheme. So week 1, you did 3 sets of 8. Week 2, let's do 3 sets of 5. I bet you can find 5 pounds. If strength is the goal, that's an easy, I would take that bet any day of the week. 3 sets of 5, week 2. All right? Let's do it again. Let's lift more weight again the next week. Okay, how can I do that? Let's change the zones. Review of the zones. Reps 8 to 12, let's call that zone 3. Longest duration, lightest load. Reps 6 to 7, that's zone 2. All right, I'm sorry. Reps 4 through 6, sorry about that. 4 to 6, that's zone 2. They're in the middle. Moderate load, moderate set durations. Zone 1, heaviest load, shortest set durations, reps 1 through 3. All right, so zone 1, 1 to 3, zone 2, 4 to 6, zone 3 is 8 to 12. And so if I just change the zone, I know I can automatically lift more weight. The reason I like zone 3, especially for a beginner, is if you're a beginner and you've never lifted, a set of 8 is going to give you more opportunity to improve proficiency. You need longer set durations. It's going to help you grease the groove. Everybody's heard that term. It's going to give you the opportunity to learn the exercise the best. It's the longest. All right? So revisit. Week 1, so zone 3. 3 sets of 8. Week 2, zone 2. 3 sets of 5. Easy way to lift more than you lifted on week 1. Week 3, we're going to move down to zone 1, and we're going to do 5 sets of 3. So earlier I said you can still keep it simple and not have to go so far to this on the side of simple on the spectrum that it's just ridiculously this is still easy. 3 sets of 8, 3 sets of 5, 5 sets of 3. So for 3 weeks in a row, you're going to lift heavier each week. Week 4, you go back. You could go back to 3 sets of 8. You could repeat this over and over until you stop increasing weight. So week 4, you do 3 sets of 8. Week 5, you do 3 sets of 5. Week 6, you do 5 sets of 3. And you could repeat this until you don't see change. Right? That's simple. Because week 1 to week 4, you've got this experience built up. You could probably hit a new 8 rep max. Week 5, you could probably hit a new 5 rep max. Week 6, same with the 3 rep max. You're hitting these different zones. You're getting exposed to more intensities and more set durations. It's exactly what somebody would need if they want to train for the long run. Jumping right into it, not avoiding quote unquote complexity, just keeping it simple. You're hitting all zones. You're getting what you need. Now you're saying, what if I don't see the progress? Then change the rep schemes. 3 sets of 10, 3 sets of 6, right? 6 sets of 3. Change the rep scheme. If I'm looking at zone 1, you're moving from 3 sets of 8 to 3 sets of 10. You're lifting more total weight, easy. You're going from 24 reps to 30 reps. You're lifting more total weight. Same thing with 3 sets of 6. You're going to lift more total weight. Same thing with 6 sets of 3. And then when you stop seeing progress there, what do? Then you go to 3 sets of 12. You go to 3 sets of 7. And you go to 7 sets of 3. It's that simple. It doesn't have to be any more complex than that. But if it was me and I'm training and somebody tells me I have to stay at the same weight for all my sets, and they tell me I have to lift the same reps each week until I'd stop seeing progress, that just wouldn't do it for me. And that's the other thing about these ideas is they're not for everybody. Everybody has a choice depending on your expectations, the vision you have for how far you want to go in lifting and strength. Everybody has choices, and this is simply just a choice that I see would be better than the popular idea of adding 5 pounds a week. So like I said, you don't have to, I don't share things for the purpose of everybody doing what I believe is best. I simply put it out there because I think it's better to put things out there and let everybody make their own decision. That's it. It's as simple as that. So if you feel like you need something new, or you feel like what the adding 5 pounds a week isn't, it's not fulfilling your appetite, so to speak, then simply try what I've laid out. Let me know how it goes. But last thing I'll say is nobody's right or wrong. There's never anything wrong with sharing new ideas or different ideas. So I would say to people who might not appreciate or like whenever I say things that I don't agree with, one reason I purposely don't associate with people, I don't tie myself to anybody. If anybody follows me on X, I don't have a buddy. I don't have a group of people that I call, my circle. I stay on the outside so I can say what I truly believe, because I don't want to have to defend something because of tribalism or groupthink, and I'm tied to this entity and I can't go against it. So one of the things I've always been mindful of is keeping myself authentic. I'm simply sharing what I believe through my experience, and I've got education, I've got coaching experience, I've got a plethora of, things that I draw my beliefs from. So that's the reason of the video. I hope you liked it, and if somebody could benefit from hearing this, send it to them. Let me know what you think.